You are here because life feels fine. But you are done with fine. You know you are made for more. And you've asked, is this it? Too many times now. This isn't just another episode. This is your permission slip to turn fine back into fire. We're Charlotte and Kat, coaches through and through, but more importantly, real women who've been there. We help women come home to themselves and create a life that feels exciting, energizing, and completely their own again. Around here, we get real conversations, real stories, and real transformations from the women in our community who dared to go all in. If you're ready to stop existing, to stop settling for fine, and to start truly living, welcome home.
Hello, everybody. We are back for another episode, and I am super excited for this one because we're going to be delving into Kat's story a little bit more because Kat was my whisper at the beginning of the Authentic Girls Club, weren't you, Kat? You were my, you can do this. And I really needed that voice. I needed someone to believe in me before I was ready to believe in me. And we've not even spoken about this story for a little while, but just in case you're just tuning in, me and Kat actually met very randomly in a breakout room in a women's networking group, and we both nearly ended that call before even heading into that breakout room due to fear, right? But we didn't. We landed in each other's worlds, and how grateful I am to have had you as my whisper because not only were you that whisper, but my goodness me, you have a wealth of not just inner work knowledge, self-development, but also business knowledge and business experience. And you've created incredible amounts of success. And I'd love to just really delve in a little bit further into your story, just to understand, like, what does it really take to make that happen and just share kind of the success that you've already created. So let's go for
Oh,
it.
first of all, thank you. Thank you so much I always love it when I hear you say I was your whisper. Like it really warms. It
Yeah.
warms on the inside and I feel it because it was an absolute, it's still an honor, of course, to be working together. And it was an honor in the early days to be that whisper. I'm really truly blessed
Yeah.
because I too had a whisper. I often talk about my Andy. And
Yes.
that everyone needs an Andy. And Andy is an incredible friend of mine. And we will get into this in a little bit more detail, but he was initially my business partner. And he too believed in me until I was ready to believe in myself. And it's really important to have somebody in your corner, isn't it? Whether that's an individual or a community that really does believe in you. So, yeah, so thank you for that.
And it's,
Um,
can I just say
yeah.
as well, it's that there's a difference, isn't there? Of like,
Mm,
because obviously, like our family and friends support and things, but it's that someone who believes in your wild dreams, or
yeah.
that you feel that you can voice them to, and that
Yeah.
it doesn't sound crazy, and you've just got
No,
that back into. And obviously, this is what we love being for everybody else now, and it's the whole core of the Authentic Girls Club, isn't it? But it is so important, yeah,
it
just
really
to
is.
voice those things.
Yeah. And you're right there in what you say in terms of like, yes, we can share these things with lots of people, family, friends, but I don't know. Sometimes you just meet these people, like we've met each other, and like I had Andy, that you can voice, like you say, these big, wild,
Yeah,
limitless dreams, and you don't feel silly. And they're like, of course, that's not silly. I
yeah,
totally get it, and it's totally
yeah,
possible for you. And I believe you can make that happen. And having that person is absolutely gold. It really, really is. So, first of all, thank you. Thank you
yeah.
for sharing that. And thank you for just kind of allowing me to really reflect on the experience and the wisdom and the knowledge that I do have over the past. And every time I say this, I'm like, oh my gosh, like 70, 18 years. Like, it makes me feel a little bit old, but it's all good. It's just numbers, right? So, yeah, I've been in business now for 18 years. And it began when I quit my dream job after I just qualified at university. I'd studied 3 hard years for what it was I wanted to do. I'd landed my dream job. The company I worked for, they weren't even employing at the time, But I wowed them away that much in an interview that they created a role for me. And then within 6 months of being with the company, I left and walked away because I had a wild dream that was so much bigger than what I was doing with the company. I was working in video production. And shall I dive into this? Shall I dive into this further, or should we?
Yeah, you can't leave
I
that
can't leave
teasing
that hanging, can
now.
I? So yeah,
No.
I'll try and keep this concise, guys. Okay, so for anyone that hasn't heard this before, so I had a career in video production. That was always the dream. That was always the goal, and I landed, as I say, in the perfect space. And then my employers, one of them being Andy, my Andy, and his business partner Mark, they sent me and the team, it was a small team at the time, to a self-development webinar, weekend, sorry, in London by Tony Robbins. So yes, the Tony Robbins, the American coach guru, the Marmite. Some love him, some hate him. We're big fans, aren't we? To his event called UPW, which stands for Unleash the Power Within. And we were young, we were in our like early 20s, and it was me and the four lads, and we were like, okay, we don't really understand what you're sending us to. Are you sending us to a cult? What are we doing? But from that perspective, when you're in your early 20s, it was a paid weekend, and we're like, yeah, let's just go have a jolly. So I went and I had absolutely zero knowledge of the concept of personal growth, inner work, self-development. I just wasn't in that world at all. So being at UPW, I mean, Tony Robbins doesn't do it like on a small scale, does he? Like if you're going to go in
No.
hard, like by the end of day one, you're walking on hot coals. So long story short, I came away from UPW absolutely inspired, empowered, a completely changed woman. Like I walked on those hot coals on that first night and I thought, fucking hell, like if I can do that, I can do anything. And just to really get to grips with the fact that we create our own destiny. Like, as I say, zero knowledge on this before that, like 3 days away. But to really understand in a really short space of time that we have the power of our mind, we can choose our thoughts, we can choose our beliefs. And in doing all of that, we can choose the type of life we create, like we are the creator of it. Like my world opened up extensively. And then so much so that I came back and quit my job. I went into the debrief meeting, we came back, and Mark and Andy sat me down. They're like, Kat, so tell me, like, how did you find the weekend? How are you going to, kind of take what you've learned to improve, like personally and professionally, what you're bringing into the workplace? And I was like, guys, I've got to be honest. Like, thank you so much for the most life-changing opportunity. But I need to quit my job because I want to go and train to be a life coach. I want to do what Tony Robbins is doing and one day maybe host my own fire walk. We did that at the start of this year.
Yes, we did.
Was that the start of this year?
That was the start
Oh
of
my
this
gosh, that
year.
was the start of this year. So yeah, so that happened. And being the guys that they are, they were like, okay, well, it's not what we were expecting, Kat. We're obviously a little bit gutted. However, we back you completely. Like, we back you. And that's where it all began. That's where it all began. My journey to firstly working for myself to then starting to run and operate and own businesses began from there, from that moment, from a weekend of really seeing that whatever I put my mind to, whatever I believe, I can achieve, and that the power is all within. Like it was totally about getting back into the driving seat of life. So I did exactly that. I did an insane thing. I quit my job. Like, can you imagine how that conversation went down with my parents? Like, I had just studied 3 years of university. Okay, university wasn't as expensive as it is now, guys, but it still cost a fair bit. And I'd only been in my dream job for 6 months. They were absolutely raving about. They were so proud of me. Oh, Kat's got this job, and it wasn't. They weren't even employing. They loved telling everybody. And then I'm like, but I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm going to train to be a life coach. And they're just like scratching their heads going like, what does that even mean? Like, what is it like
Yeah.
life coaching 17 years ago? Oh my gosh, that's such American. Like, it was, everybody in America has a coach, a therapist, but in the UK, we were a bit more closed to it back then. My friends didn't really get what I was doing, but true friends are like, just go for it, cat, whatever. If it's making you happy, go for it. So it was a really, really funky place to just kind of
Mm.
such a big leap to come away from something so safe, something that you'd work for, something everybody
Yeah.
understood, to do something quite radical on
Mm.
your own accord. However, I had Andy. Andy was my
Yeah.
whisper. And he was
Yeah.
like, okay, you're leaving my business because I sent you on this course and I should be mad, but actually I'm really happy for you and I'm going to back you all the way.
I
And he was
absolutely
my
love that.
whisper. And he,
What a
yeah,
guy he is. I've
he's
since met
amazing.
Andy and he's incredible. Yeah.
Isn't he
Absolutely love
just?
it.
Isn't he just?
Amazing, amazing. So, I mean, I obviously haven't experienced that weekend since, like, to have experienced that at such a young age, I can only imagine just wow. Like,
Yeah.
so what impact? Because obviously, then you did train and you went into life coaching, and then life took that different turn, and then you opened a coffee shop, and then,
How random can I keep getting, guys? Video production, life coaching, coffee shop, like
yeah,
variety's the spice of life, right?
yeah,
But what I do feel blessed by is that when I trained as a coach, I absolutely made myself my first client. Like there was
yeah,
no way I was going to go and coach anybody without having walked the walk. I wasn't going to share with them the things that they could do to improve their lives and make positive change that lasts without having done that myself.
yeah.
So I became my own coach, and I then went into hospitality. I opened a coffee shop. But wow, having my own back, I did still have Andy because he was my business partner in my first coffee shop. But having my own back and being my own coach, believing in myself, even though I hadn't got a clue what to do. Like I had never ran a coffee shop before. I had never been in business before. Yes, I was self-employed as a coach, but being self-employed, working for yourself, but then having a business where you start to employ staff is a very different
Mm.
story. And we're talking like bricks and mortar, we're talking like a physical business, so very different worlds. But going into that as my own coach, having my own back, believing that I can, not knowing what to do, but just having this ingrained belief that I will just figure it out. That I just had this belief that I can't fail, I can only learn. And that just allowed me to just go for it and try. And there were bumps in the road. Of course there were. Like I opened my first coffee shop with, do you know the books? Have you ever seen the books A Dummy's Guide to? I don't know if you've ever
Yeah,
seen those. They
yeah,
do like
yeah.
all sorts of things. Like I literally went and got that from Waterstones. Remember the days when people bought books from bookshops? I went into Waterstones in Birmingham City Centre and I went and got A Dummy's Guide to Opening a Restaurant off the shelf. And I walked out with a dummy's guide, and me and Andy managed to raise, I had no money, but me and Andy managed to raise £10,000 grant from the council, and that was it. We both liked coffee,
I was
and that
going to
was
say,
it.
where did that come? Because it's very random. Like,
It
where
is
did
very
that was?
random. Where'd that come
What was the
from? Where
conversation? Was there a conversation
Yes,
or?
there, yes, there were many, and I think well, I know actually it was a after work. Well, no, it wasn't after work because I wasn't working for Andy at the time. That was it. I was working as a coach, and me and Andy were still really really connected. And I think we were just like went out for a drink maybe, or went out for a bite to eat one day. And I think I voiced to him that as much as I was loving being a coach, and I really really was, I found it really lonely. It was because it was me, I wasn't employing coaches, it was me coaching one to one. And I kind of found my groove I was coaching small business owners in creative industries. Kind of found my niche, fell into that really. And I was maybe seeing, I don't know, 8 to 10 clients a week, some telephone calls, some in person, and it was beautiful. But I just felt the rest of that time, I'm coaching for say 8 to 10 hours a week. Okay, there's the prep work after and before that. But other than that, the rest of my working week was alone and I found it really isolating. So I remember just voicing this to Andy. And I don't know actually how I got from that to, well, hey, let's go into business together and open a coffee shop. But no, Andy voiced that he saw, this is the whisper, he saw something in me. He
Yeah,
saw something in me and he knew what I knew inside, that whatever she puts her mind to, if she's passionate about it and if it lights her up and if it's something she wants to do, she will make it work. Like it's almost like he was putting money on a horse, on a horse in the right. Like he was backing me. He was like, right,
Yeah.
I kind of don't care what we do, Kat, but we'll do something together, and I'm in. I'm in because
Yeah. I love that.
and he was kind of like, well, putting our strengths together. Andy's a little bit older than me, and he'd already been in the business. He got so much business knowledge, so much financial knowledge. I was like a sponge. I was like, I'm the doer. I'm the hands-on. I'll do the doing. I'll figure it out, and he'll bring his business brain to the party. So we had these conversations. We knew we wanted to do something. To say I had a bit of hospitality experience, I mean, I worked in Greggs when I was 16, but to be fair, I had a bit of waitressing and all that, but I knew I loved that kind of space. And where Andy's business was located, there was a real gap in the market at the time. So it was like a like business environment, business setup, but there wasn't really like a coffee shop on site or a decent eatery. You kind of had to walk. It's just out of Birmingham city centre. So anybody on their lunch break or whatever would be making a 10-minute walk up into Birmingham city centre to get a decent coffee or a decent sandwich, whatever. We obviously came to the decision that it was going to be a coffee shop, and the perfect location was where his business was. For anyone that knows Birmingham, actually, I just love to share. It's a custard factory in Digbeth where Bird's Custard came from, as in the Bird's Custard, and that's where we opened. And we just decided to go for it and opened. It was actually a takeout deli called YUMM, and it was a
Oh, love it.
shoebox. It was a shoebox. You could open the door and you could get about 10 people in there, and it was me, Andy, and my mum. She was a business partner as well. And it was a serve over counter, so people would come in for their breakfast rolls or their freshly made baguettes at lunch, their fresh coffee, their pastries. And we just lit up the custard factory. We brought a new energy to it. We brought quality, we brought passion, and that's where it began.
I love that. I love that.
Would you like to know
Oh,
where it went after that? Would you like
yeah.
to know where it went? So the shoebox didn't stay a shoebox. We were there for just under 12 months, and the unit directly opposite came up. Well, it was almost like a derelict building. It was being renovated, and literally you opened our door and you look opposite to where the new door was going to be, and you could take, I don't know, 5 giant leaps and you were at the door of the potential new premises. But it was 6 times the size. We went from, like, I don't know, a few hundred square feet to, I think it was something ridiculous like 2,000 square feet, 60-seater eating, full
Wow.
blown cafe, serving the whole of the custard factory. And it was almost like it was our stepping stone. The deli was to prove a concept. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you have bricks and mortar businesses, and I voiced this to you, Shark, didn't I? It's very different in the online world, because with bricks and mortar, you kind of know in a really short space of time. If people are coming through the door, it's working. If they're not,
Yeah.
you've got to change something. And within 12 months, this offer came up to take on these new premises, and we went for it. And then I spent the further 6 months then designing and building this new space. And it then became just an absolute, just this, almost just like the home of the custard factory. We knew everybody by name. Jonathan would walk through the door and we'd have his latte ready before he could even get his words out. And I know who has ketchup on their bacon sarnie and how Sarah likes their eggs. And it was wonderful. Sorry, I'm clearly reminiscing here, guys.
I love
Kind
it.
of
I
going
love
back to
it.
my days with an apron and a hairnet. And then we continued that for a further 7 years. But where do you
Really?
want to go, Charlotte? What do you want to pull out from this? Because I could just keep going all day.
Yeah, I mean, it really lights me up because I know exactly what you will have brought to that business and I can see and feel it. And I know that obviously you've continued to then do that and you then moved on to opening a restaurant, right?
Yes.
Um, and I think it's just really wonderful to see your journey and actually see the chapters of it because I think sometimes we can look at someone's story, right, and think that's been their whole story or that's been just, kind of just a straight line to get there. But oh
Yeah.
God, we all have these different like routes and all of these things that at the time they're all consuming and it's just all in, right? But then yeah, chapters close and then we go on to new ones and there's always something exciting that lies ahead.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose so. Then it got into the restaurant, right?
Yeah, so shall I go? I'll go to the next chapter. We'll just turn the page, baby.
Yeah.
Just turn the page. Here we go. Right, next chapter 3. And this is great because this is really showing the stepping stones because it's not, you've got to hang on, guys. Like whatever business you're in,
Mm.
if you're in the early days, if you've got an inner belief that I'm doing this and I'll figure it out and I'll make it work, you've got to just keep going, got to hang on because what we're about to share now as we step into the next chapter is it's almost like the everything that I did that led to opening my restaurant Casamed, which I've now been running with my husband for the last 10 years successfully. And we've turned over £5 million in the last 10 years. And within the
Well,
first 2 years, we were able to remove ourselves from the business. And that was always the goal. And what I mean by that is that we still own it, it still makes money, but we don't really have to work in it very much. And that is just
incredible.
and what it gives us, and I love to share this actually. I could work in it. I could go back in there and I could do 40, 45 hours a week. So could my husband. We could both jump it back in. And overnight we would double, if not treble, our income, what we bring into the home every month. However, what we'd be sacrificing is our time. Like, I am so time
Yeah.
rich right now. I might not be razzing around in swanky cars yet. Although I'm not that fussed about swanky cars. I do like classic cars. I would like an E-Type.
Yes, I remember you
What
telling
was
me
it?
about
Yeah,
classic
an
cars.
E-Type is on
Yeah.
my vision board. But it's never been about the handbags or the stuff. It's only ever been about time.
Yeah.
I feel very time rich. So anyway, I digress. So we've been running successfully 10 years. 8 of those have been kind of working on the business as opposed to in it. But my point here was that the previous years, so the previous Yum Custard Factory days, total of 7 or 8 years, they were all the learnings. Like it's not just a smooth straight line. They were all the learnings and they were the stepping stones that got me to when I opened the doors at Casamed, I knew straight up that I didn't want to run it the way that I ran my coffee shop. Not that it was bad or wrong, but I took so many learnings from that to set this new business up in a way that it could run successfully without me.
I do apologise, guys. We had a little quick interval there where, yeah, Evan woke up. He's not very well, my little one. So yes, a quick pause, but we are back. We are back. So, Kat, you were just getting to some really juicy parts as well about literally how all of those learnings were setting you up for what was to come next.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Absolutely. So yeah, I was reflecting on how it's not just a straightforward journey and nothing's ever wasted. So all
No.
those early years, like the first year with the takeout deli, the 7 years that followed with Yum, that the eating cafe, like there was lots of things you could say I did wrong, but I just looked at it in a different way. I just took all the learning. So then when I did open Casamed, there were so many things I did differently. Like
Yeah.
from day one, I knew I didn't want to just kind of buy myself a job, essentially. I
Mm.
knew I didn't want to open a restaurant to then just be working in it full time like I was with the coffee shop. And within 2 years, like I mentioned, me and Mark were both out of the business and having it work for us. We've got an incredible team. We've got a team of like 15, 16 staff. We've got senior members of the team. So we've got a full-time head chef, full-time restaurant manager who get our vision and really lead
Mm.
with the passion and the vision that we've got. And they do an incredible job that we've made ourselves redundant, but that was always the goal. That really, really was the goal. So,
I love that. And you
yeah.
briefly mentioned the richness in time, and I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I remember you shared this with me actually, not even that long ago. And I don't think
Yeah.
you quite realize how incredible this is, but you were like, you guys have both taken every single holiday off together with your kids.
Mm. I
And I'm
know.
like, wow.
And I'm so proud of us for that. I really, really
Yeah.
am because we made that happen. And this is the key thing in the inner work and being in business. And this is a belief I have that if I was to go into business now, I would make sure I'd done this work before I started any business. And if you're in business and haven't really dived into the inner work, that's okay
Yeah.
because you can start anytime, can't you, Charlotte?
Hmm.
You can start anytime, and it doesn't need to be a lengthy process to get to know yourself, to build confidence, to build belief, to change your beliefs, to talk to yourself in the best way possible. And yeah, just really, really proud to reflect on that because yeah, like my eldest, she turns 11 next week. My youngest is 9 in a couple of weeks. And since they've both been at school, so that's the past however many years is my maths, 6+ years,
Yeah.
I think we have taken every single holiday off. And that's not just the 2 weeks at Christmas, the 2 weeks at Easter, the half terms, the full 6 weeks holidays.
Mm.
And yes, of
Yeah.
course, we've had to do a few things around. My husband, he looks after all the finance, so we'll still be processing wages and stuff. But I mean, we've not had to be in the restaurant, we've not had to be there
Yeah.
during the holidays. We take the kids to school, we pick them up every day. We've never missed a thing. And I don't say this to make anyone feel bad. I say this because I'm proud of it because it was a choice to go into business. It's a choice
Mm.
to take a risk every month. Like it's on mine and Mark's heads that we have an incredible team. We've got to make sure we are turning over the figures we need to turn over to pay people's wages, to pay people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come, it doesn't come without risks and challenges. And we just have to keep rising to that. But we always have this belief that we will just figure it out. We will just
Mm.
figure it out. And a really great thing to kind of share on that is was COVID. Like so it's our restaurant is mine and Mark's business together. He doesn't have a no work anywhere else, so it's our entire income. At the time it was, and within like 24 hours we lost our whole income into the household because the business had to close of immediate effects. And
Yeah.
we, at first, as the world was shocked with what was going on, but we had to, within a short space of time, just lean back into, we will figure it out. We
Yeah.
could have spiraled, like we could have spiraled big time, but what was that going to do for us? That
Mm.
wasn't going to change the situation. That wasn't going to stop it. That wasn't going to just suddenly allow us to open back our doors again and everything be okay. Like spiraling and
Mm.
stressing out and just coming from a complete fear perspective was not going to make anything better. But sitting there as a team and going, we will figure it out.
Yeah.
That has come from, I've definitely been the driving force of that belief with us as a couple in business and within the business. Like
Yeah.
whenever we get wind on the high street that a new coffee shop or a new restaurant is opening up, it comes down the hospitality grapevine. Oh, did you know that this place is opening up? And there's the fear factor. Like, oh, you guys, how do you guys feel about this? More competition coming? And I'm like, guys, everybody chill. There's enough for everyone. There's enough for
Mm.
everyone. And I have that belief, and I'm the first to go knocking on the door of the new restaurant and go, hi guys, welcome. Welcome to the town. I'm Kat from Casamed. Come to meet you. Welcome. Make sure you jump in the hospitality group we've got. Let's connect.
Yeah.
I'm a believer. I'm coming from abundance. I'm not coming from fear and lack. Like I know there's enough for everybody. And also I'm like, well, I've just got to be better. I've just got to be better. It's a moment to check back in and not just kind of
Yeah.
plateau and just kind of be a bit, oh, well, it's all right. We'll be all right. I've got to, if I've got to up my game because competition's coming, I've got to up my game and I've got to be better.
And can we just share a bit of your recent upping your game as well? Because it's been lighting up my feed in terms of your reels recently. They are a highly spoken about topic inside of the Authentic Girls Club, inside of all of our coaching client groups. It's like, what? Kat is doing some incredible reels. So go and check out Casamed, please.
Yeah, please do. If you're on Instagram, guys, come and give us a follow. Even if you're not local or you don't like tapas, just for the silly factor, come and see what me and
Yeah,
Mark and my manager, Vic, she's incredible. She's so on board with it. Like
I
she
love
knows if I
that.
tip up on a Thursday with a bag full of props, you can just see her roll her eyes. She's like, I know what's coming. This is social media content creation time. But I am
Woohoo.
absolutely loving it. It's so much
You can
fun.
tell, you
Yeah.
are, and I think that's it,
And
right?
I tell you where it came from. I hit this point. I was like, I just felt a little bit of on the churn in terms of social media, kind of just kind of constantly just showing, showcasing the food and the drink, which is important. But I was like, we need to bring some personal. Like we have a cracking personality. Like Our customers come 9 times out of 10 because they've heard from somebody how great we are. And
Mm,
the food speaks for itself, but we blow them away with our service. Like our
yeah,
team cares, and that is all led from me and Mark and fed down through our management through to the team. And the team genuinely care. And we wanted to get that across. So we wanted to get across our personality through our socials. So yeah, I think it's translating well. I think we're having a good
it
time
really
making them,
is.
and I think
Yeah.
we are bringing a bit of joy and a bit of silliness to the grid. So yeah, so that's kind of where we've got to in terms of the backstory, where it all began, and just I think it's really understanding when you're in business to that it's not plain sailing, and there's always lessons to be had, and nothing's ever wasted. Whatever you're doing now, whatever chapter of business you're in, whatever you're figuring out, know that it's going to come to fruition. It's really, really going to pay off. It
Yeah.
really, really is.
I had this big exhale well, it was probably a few months ago now, where I was just like, what if you never figure it out?
Mm,
And I was like, what if actually we're just always figuring it out?
I think you are. I think you're always figuring it out.
Yeah. And
But
then
then
I was
you
like,
figure some stuff out, if you know what I mean. Like on a literal
yeah,
sense, you'll figure out, oh, well, that's how I do that. But then there'll be
yeah,
something
yeah.
else to figure out.
But for me, it was just that there's no rush or,
No, it's an exhale because it's a relief, sorry, that I'm not going to get to the, it's like, you don't need to, it's like, it's almost like getting to the end of the to-do list.
yeah.
It's kind of a bit
And then it's
silly
going to be,
because
yeah.
it just keeps going. And actually, funny you say that because I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with a wonderful lady, and she's like, "Oh, just it's just always something, isn't there?" And I can't remember how she articulated it, but I kind of just opened it back up to us like, "Well, there is, isn't there? There is always something." And I think when we accept that, that's when we can just kind of have that really
Mm,
sigh of relief and lean into it. And she was like, "Oh, yeah, do you know what? That's right, isn't it?" And it is.
yeah,
We're
it
always
is.
figuring it out. There'll always be something to do, but that's
Yeah,
us living.
definitely. And I think for me that landed when it was realizing that Stephen Bartlett has a whole team of people
Yes.
failing for him so he can figure it out faster. Like,
Yes.
that's your job.
Yeah.
Fail so you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so then even as far ahead as he is, you're still figuring it out because it changed, like, especially in this day and age, like things change so fast. We are
Quickly.
always going to be figuring it out.
Yeah.
Just like you and your
Yeah.
reels, like you said, it,
Yeah.
kind of like went like a little bit like that. And then you were like, I need to do something else and figure this
Yeah.
out again. It's just
Absolutely.
all the journey, not the destination, isn't it?
It
And
is.
yeah, just to kind of really draw back on a few key points then, because I think what's been really incredible through hearing all of that is just the you-ness that has followed you throughout all of it and
Mm.
your values. And like I said, when you were kind of describing the coffee shop, like I've obviously been to Casamed and like I can just see how that has evolved from just you and you just bringing you to everything that you do, which I think is just incredible. And then to like your values in terms of
Mm.
obviously, I mean, because we can, right, get focused on the success in other ways and the richness in wealth or these different types of things, but to know that you wanted to create that time freedom to make that your
Yeah.
focus and silence out the noise of anything else. Like, let's just celebrate that, please, because that's just massive.
Yeah. And that's because that's the chapter I'm in currently.
Yeah,
That's the chapter I'm in currently. And I really do like from a financial perspective, I really feel I'm just scratching this. Like I feel I'm only just begun. Like
yeah,
I know, well, when we put our, when we put our heads together, whatever we do together, right, we make it happen, don't we? And I know there's so much more to create in
mm,
terms of financial wealth. And I know with that, we can do so much more good
yeah,
in the world. And I'm really, really excited for that. But this chapter right now, you're right, the time rich is more of a priority to me than the wealth rich. Like I said, I could go back into the business, we could
mm,
treble our income in the house overnight, but I'd have no blooming time to spend it because I'd be working all the time, and I wouldn't. And
yeah,
obviously, the nature of the beast being hospitality, we wouldn't see the kids, so we wouldn't be able to do bedtime with
mm,
the kids, like, and to not be at bedtime when they're so young
mm.
for every night of the week, pretty much. It's just not something I'm prepared to budge on right now. But
And
that'll
I just
shift.
would. yeah, and I just feel like I'm like tying all this together, but I'm like that belief that you've said many, many times, like I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
That's led you to there, right? Because
yeah,
actually, like that takes quite a different perspective to create that for yourself, doesn't it? When you
yeah.
kind of, I imagine, in a business and,
Hmm.
kind of you're running it and doing all the things to then go, but no, like, kind of then to take yourself out and actually then create that time so that you can be with kids. Like that's a whole mindset
Yeah, it is. And
difference, isn't
it's
it?
a yeah, and it's an intention from day one as well, was to
Yeah,
have it so that the business was running for us, not with us. And
yeah.
I'll tell you what, an incredible book. If you haven't, guys, if you're in business and you haven't read this, I add it to your reading list. It's the E Myth by Michael Gerber. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his surname correctly, but it's called the E Myth, and he talks about setting your business up as though you're going to sell it, as though you're going to create a
Mhm.
franchise, and that's what I did with Casamed because I haven't mentioned this actually, but so a coffee shop. I actually sold that. We were approached in 2014. Somebody wanted to come and buy it, and so in the same year I turned 30, and I sold my business for six figures, and
Amazing.
that was pretty lush.
That's
So,
incredible.
but because we were having buyers buy the business, I had to get it to a point where I could literally hand over the keys and the operations manual, which was
Yeah.
like a how-to guide of how to run the coffee shop. But prior to that, all of that was just in my head. I was relied on for everything. Well, how do you want us to do this, Kat? Well, how do you want us to do
Yeah.
that? And it was almost kind of just my hand was being forced because we were selling the business. I had to
Mm.
extract all that information. And I knew when I was opening Casamed, I didn't want to be that person that had all that information in their head. Like obviously me and Mark had a way of how we wanted the business to run. So from day one, I was on it with I'm going to create a systems and an operations manual so that anyone that comes through the business knows exactly what the business standards are. They know the expectations. They know exactly how we make the best mojito in Bromsgrove. Like it's got a build sheet.
Yeah.
Everything is to the T. So if either A, I got run over by a bus tomorrow, it would still operate without me. Or B, we want to sell it, we can. Or C,
Mhm.
me and Mark want to step away from the business and have others run it on our behalf, like we're doing. We absolutely can do as well. So that was the intention
Yeah.
when we opened it. So it's kind of knowing where you want your business to go and how you can
Yeah.
scale it without you being in it.
Love
So
it.
yeah,
Oh, what a
but
conversation. I've loved hearing more of this. And just
yeah,
to,
but
because I've obviously, you've shared all of these pieces with me, but I don't think I've ever actually heard you kind of speak it all out
yeah.
properly.
And it feels really good to speak it all out. It really does because it's been such an exciting journey. It really, really has. I've
Yeah.
learned so much. And I know the number one thing that has carried me through the whole thing has been my mindset. Like,
Mm.
guys, if you are in business and you haven't done the work on yourself, like, make it a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Wherever, however you do it, I don't care. Just do it because as soon as you do that, as soon as you step into the identity of somebody who figures it out, of somebody who doesn't fail, that just, I know I can't fail. Like, that is a
Mhm.
done deal. Yeah, I can get it wrong. Yeah, I can do it in a way it shouldn't be done. But I am not going to sit there and go, oh, failed. Oh, I knew I couldn't do it. And just wallow in that. Oh, probably be a bit put out for a little while, but then I'll get over myself and I'll be like, right, what are my learnings? Why didn't
Yeah.
it work? How can I do it differently? What is it
Hmm.
teaching me? And move on
Love
from
that.
that. But mindset is key. When you are your business, you have to be your foundation. You have to know that whatever it throws at you, because it'll throw a lot at you, you'll figure it out, you'll handle it. Whatever you
Yeah.
put your mind to, you will achieve. And that, yeah, you can just figure it out. You can figure it out.
Yeah.
And the power of yet. I know, sorry, one last thing and then we'll wrap. I know when we're working with our ladies two to one that are in business or starting businesses, we often hear, but I don't know how to X, Y, Z. And we like fill in the blank. Oh, but I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to run a coffee shop. I don't know how to get sales. And yet, just put the word yet on the end. Like, I did not know how to employ staff. I did not know how to create an operations manual. I did not know how to make lattes. I did not know how to cook lasagna for 120 people. I did not know how to do appraisals. I did not know how to, I don't use right the word sacking. That's probably not the right word to use. Tell somebody they didn't have a job anymore. I did not know how to do that. There is so many things I did not know how to do.
Mhm.
But it was just yet. I just had to figure it out. And if I didn't know, I'd find someone that could, or I'd go and get a book from the library.
Yeah, a dummy's guide. There we
This
go.
guy to opening a restaurant. Or I had coaches and just getting the people that do know to shorten the
Yeah,
curve and just know it is all figure outable. It really, really is.
absolutely love this.
There we go.
Love it. Love this
Yeah,
conversation. Thank you so, so much for sharing, Kat. It's been amazing to talk through this. And yeah, we'll speak to you all really, really soon.
you're very welcome. Take care, guys. Speak to you
Thank you,
soon.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
What if today was the last day you ever woke up and thought, is this it? You were not born to settle. And in 1 hour inside Wake Up Excited, we'll prove it to you. Wake Up Excited is a free masterclass for the woman who is ready to stop settling and start living life on her terms. In just 60 minutes, you are going to rewrite the story you're living by and reignite the spark that makes you wake up excited again. Your next chapter doesn't start someday. It starts the moment you choose it. And if this conversation lit something up inside of you, this is your moment. The link is waiting for you in the show notes, and we cannot wait to see you there.